Hey guys, and welcome back to the Mr. Knit Along. Today is always a new pattern, so let's get started. This will be section 17, and in row 1 we're going to increase the first stitch as always, knit and purl, and then we're going to repeat. So you knit 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3 and 4, then yarn over, take off 1 stitch, slip 1 stitch, knit the next stitch, and then pull this stitch over the knit stitch. Okay, one more time, so we will repeat this all the time. Knit 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3 and 4, yarn over, slip 1 stitch, knit 1 stitch, and pull the slipped stitch over the knit stitch. Okay, and then you repeat this all the time across the row. There's 1 stitch left before the I-cord stitches, so I knit this stitch, and then we can take off the 3 I-cord stitches and turn our work. And in row 2 we knit the first 3 stitches, and then purl all the other stitches. At the end of the row we knit the very last stitch, and then we can turn our work. In row 3 we increase the first stitch, knit and purl, and then we start directly with a yarn over, and then you take off the stitch, knit the next stitch, and pull the stitch over the knit stitch, and then you repeat again our pattern. Knit 4 stitches, 2, 3 and 4, and as you see, the 4th stitch is directly over the yarn over from the previous row. Then yarn over, take off 1 stitch, knit 1 stitch, and pull this one over the knit stitch. Okay, and then you repeat again the pattern. Knit 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, yarn over, take off 1 stitch, knit 1, and pull this stitch over the knit stitch. So actually what we did is we moved the pattern 1 stitch to the left. For the left-handed we moved it to the right, so the other direction. Yeah, and then you just continue to repeat this pattern as always. Knit 4, yarn over, take off, knit 1 stitch, and pull. At the end of the row I have no stitches left, so we can take off our I-cord stitches and turn our work. And in row 4 we knit the first 3 stitches, and then we purl all the other stitches. Don't forget to knit the very last stitch. For row 5 we increase the first stitch, knit and purl, then you knit 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and then you have your yarn over, take off the stitch, knit 1 stitch, and pull the previous over the knit stitch, and then again you have the pattern knit 4, 2, 3 and 4, yarn over, take off, knit 1 stitch and pull this one over. Then you repeat again the block with 4 stitches, yarn over, take off, knit and pull over. So I have here already 4 knit stitches, and here is 1 before the I-cord stitches, and I won't do a yarn over and I won't do the decrease here. So you just knit this 5th stitch that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 knit stitches in a row, and then you can take off the I-cord stitches. Okay, and then you can turn the work. And in row 6 you knit the first 3 stitches, oh, it looks like a fold here, so I'm going to take all of these. Okay, and then you purl all the other stitches. And don't forget to knit the very last stitch. In row 7 we start with an increase, and here we will knit the pattern, so you will repeat all the time, knit 4, 2, 3 and 4, yarn over, take off 1 stitch, knit 1 and pull the stitch over the knit stitch. Yeah, and then you repeat again, knit 4, yarn over, take off, knit 1, pull this one over the knit stitch, and so on. At the end of this row I have 4 stitches left, and I'm going to knit 4 stitches, 3 and 4, and then you can take off your I-cord stitches and then turn your work. And in row 8 we knit the first 3 stitches, and then we purl all the others. And we knit the very last stitch as always. In row 9 we increase the first stitch, knit and purl, and then you start here directly with a yarn over, take off 1 stitch, knit 1 stitch and pull this one over. Sorry for the fiddling. So, and then you repeat again the pattern, knit 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3 and 4, yarn over, take off 1 stitch, knit 1 stitch and pull over, and again knit 4, yarn over, take off, knit 1 and pull over, and so on across the row. And at the end of the row I have 3 stitches left, so I knit 3 stitches, and then I just take off the I-cord stitches, and then you can turn your work. And in row 10 we knit the first 3 stitches and purl all the others. Don't forget to knit the very last stitch. In row 11 we increase the first stitch, knit and purl, then we knit 2 stitches, yarn over, take off 1 stitch, knit 1 and pull previous stitch over the knit stitch, and then we have our pattern again, so you repeat knit 4, 2, 3 and 4, yarn over, take off, knit 1 stitch and pull over. Then you repeat this all the time, knit 4, yarn over, and the decrease here. At the end of the row we have 2 stitches left, so we knit these 2 stitches, and then we can take off the I-cord stitches, and then you just turn your work. Okay, also turn the other way around, and in row 12 you knit the first 3 stitches as always, and then you purl all the other. And don't forget to knit the very last stitch. In row 13 you increase the first stitch, knit and purl, and then you repeat the pattern directly from here, so knit 4, 2, 3 and 4, yarn over, take off 1 stitch, knit 1 stitch and pull the previous stitch over the knit stitch, and then you repeat again, knit 4, yarn over and the decrease across the row. At the end of the row we have 1 stitch left, so we knit 1 stitch and then we can take off the I-cord stitches and turn our work. And in row 14 we knit the first 3 stitches and purl all the others as always, and don't forget to knit the very last stitch. In row 15 we increase the first stitch, knit and purl, and then you start directly with a yarn over, take off 1 stitch, knit 1 stitch and pull over, and then you repeat our pattern, knit 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, yarn over, take off, knit 1 stitch, pull over, and then you repeat all the time, knit 4, yarn over and the decrease across the row. At the end of the row there are no more stitches, so I can take off my I-cord stitches and turn my work. So in row 16 we knit the first 3 stitches and then we purl all the others, and of course don't forget to knit the very last stitch. In row 17 we increase the first stitch and then we knit 2 stitches, 1 and 2, yarn over, take off, knit 1 and pull over the knit stitch, and from now on we're going to repeat our pattern, knit 4, 2, 3 and 4, yarn over, take off, knit 1 and pull the previous stitch over the knit stitch, and you repeat this all the time across the row. At the end of the row I have here 4 knit stitches, and actually here should be the decrease, and I have only 1 stitch left before the I-cord stitches, so I knit this one, I just knit the last stitch, and then we can take off the I-cord stitches and turn our work. And in row 18 we knit the first 3 stitches, and purl all the others. Don't forget to knit the very last stitch. In row 19 we increase the first stitch, and then you repeat from here our pattern knit 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, yarn over, take off 1 stitch, knit 1 stitch and pull the previous over the knit stitch, and then you repeat all the time, knit 4, yarn over and the decrease. At the end of this row we have 4 stitches left before our I-cord stitches, so we knit 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then you just take off the I-cord stitches and turn your work. And on the back row we knit 3 stitches, and then we purl all the other stitches, and we're going to knit the very last stitch. So, and this is our pattern, guys. This is one of my favorites. I could imagine a shawl only with this pattern. Looks super gorgeous. Yeah, and at this point you should have 201 stitches at all on your needles. And now we're going to finish this part with section 20. And section 20 works the same as section 2 as always. So we increase the first stitch and then we just knit all the stitches. Don't forget your I-cord stitches at the end of the row. And then on the back row you purl all the stitches. And you knit the very last stitch. And after these 2 rows you should have 202 stitches at all. Yeah, hope you liked the tutorial so far. Have a nice evening, a nice morning, a nice weekend, a nice day, whenever you're watching this. And until next time, bye bye.